Y'all, my thing just went off. That's crazy. I have a new freaking card and everything. But my camera went off, and I was talking about everything that was going good in my life. Well, not everything going good in my life, but things just it's just feeling like life is feeling normal, it's feeling balanced. But I know I'm supposed to be reaching somewhere else, and I'm like, God, where's this direction? Where am I gonna go? What's going on here? And it was two things that I saw online. And oh yeah, because I've been praying to God, like, God, just help me, change me, like, some things that I'm dealing with, some things that I'm struggling. You have that talk. So I sat there, I sat there, and in the morning, usually I don't even have my phone with me. And these last 2 weeks I have, and I was like, man, that's bad habits. Like, I need to make a timer because I hate having my electronics around me. It just seems like the more I watch television, the more I watch TV, the more I see things, I begin to eat. Um, don't know why. And it's like, it's not just everything. It's certain things that I see on there. It doesn't even have to have food on it. Certain things that will stress me out, I will eat. So, that's something that I am dealing with right now. And plus, the winter season and all that other extra stuff. But for the most part, everything has been going good. So, I was talking about that. My phone went off. So, that's why I'm catching up. Um, Yesterday, um, as I was talking to God and I was, you know, doing what I needed to do, I had a I had a moment. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? And I look, and it was this thing playing, and it was Tyler Perry playing. It was Tyler Perry not playing, but he was talking to someone about his book, Higher is Calling. Now, I tried to get this book. I got this book like, I want to say last year around this time. That's why I say cycles. Last year around this time, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read it. And then I was like, yeah, I don't know if I should read it because, excuse me, it's so much going around. It's so much craziness, and spiritually, it's so much craziness, and I don't want to get drifted away um, from other people's philosophies and things like that. Even though, for the most part, some of the other books that I heard about from Tyler Perry, or some of the audio books that I listened to, um, they were kind of cool, but I don't, something about that one, I just didn't do it, so I didn't listen to it. I just returned it to the library. I listened to like the first part of the narration, and plus I didn't really like the narrator either. Maybe because I do narration, but I didn't like his voice. So I was like, well, maybe it's not for me. So anywho, today no, yesterday I was, got online or whatever, and it just started playing, and it was talking about how he had to give up some things and he had to leave some people behind, and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I need to, and how he had to change his mindset, how he had to literally change his mindset. Sorry, you guys, it's getting a little dark because I'm walking down the bridge and it's blue. I don't know if you guys can see the blueness. Yeah, you see the blue light right there. Yeah, so it's blue. So, and plus I'm dark, so it's gonna look like it's midnight, but it's actually early in the morning. So I was like, okay, like, I believe this because, like, God is not gonna put me through all of this and not let me see the morning of the day. You know how it says weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Like, my joy is supposed to come. I'm getting my health back. I'm getting my joy, like the inner joy back. When I was going through, if you look at my picture, I would say my videos, and you see the process. I don't want to talk about other people's process and not talk about mine, because a lot of that stuff had to do with me. Even though people were operating out of things that I believe that they shouldn't have done, and trying to manipulate me. But it was things that I had to be willing to allow in my adult life. And I think that was God letting me recognize that, um, especially with me. um, staying behind and trying to not leave. Sometimes you have to leave the nest. Sometimes you have to strive harder. I always knew that I had a little bit more than most people. So, but I do try to hide. And I remember I had went to a church and this lady told me about it. But anywho, Tyler Perry, when he was talking about it he was talking about himself in the video, but it resonated a lot with me. And it started making me think, like, why am I not reaching higher when I already know this is coming? And he was saying, if God said it, sometimes you have to just know. And I was like, you know what? God did put me in this place. God did tell me this. Like, I just feel sluggish. Like, when I first had that call, it was so dynamic. I was ready to boom, 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 run. And now I'm like, it's not to the finish line, but it's getting closer. And I was like, I don't even know how far I gotta go, but it just feels weird. And I was like, man, maybe I'm not gonna get to it, because there's so many other people that's making it to their finish line, and they started later than I did. And it was like, I can't say that they didn't take as much work or they didn't do more work, because I'm like, am I supposed to do more work? But I talked about that to God, and I relaxed. And God was dealing with me, telling me that I'm enough. Like, I assigned this to you. It wasn't because you were lacking in, you're enough. Everything that I put in you is needed. There's some things that I'm going to have to be groomed into, but that's when he brings the people on to help me and to build me. Like I said, with my mentor, y'all, that woman is heaven sent. So, yeah, so then the next day, here's another one. I was like going to sleep. I hadn't even listened to Tyler. I was actually listening to some crazy nonsense that I shouldn't have been listening to. But you know how the TV keeps going, and I really look at like YouTube, listen to YouTube, but it's other kind of videos that I listen to, not really television. But it drags on to something else. So I I woke up to that, so I had to change. And then Tyler Perry came back on, and he starts talking about higher is waiting and higher is calling, and and I was like, oh man, maybe I should read this doggone book. I don't even have to buy it in the area that I'm at. When you out here with not Stididi, but when you out here with people who got a little change, they get everything. They get everything hands down, and they make sure all the kids are able to get everything for free. So you can get that book for free and read it. You can even go to the library and get the book. And never been in a place like that. So it's like, and sometimes I had to check myself with that. And I was like, why do I feel so privileged? You feel bad because you're in one spot, and you look at all your family, and you look at all the people who helped push you through. So I'm not talking about the people who didn't push you through. I'm talking about all the people who was actually there, who was actually working with you, who was actually taking time to make things better for you so you can have a better way of life. And then you do, and you look back, and you trying to pull them forward, and they won't go forward, or they can't go forward. And when I say they can't go forward, they can't because they don't feel worthy enough. And then you can't move forward because you feel so bad because they didn't come with you. And you know that had you not had that step in your life, if you didn't have that step in your life, you wouldn't be nowhere near where you at. Even though you had some ups and some downs. And he was talking about that with his mom. And yeah, he was talking about that with his mom, how, she was always supporting him and always around him. And he was like, when he got to the place that he was, that she didn't want to go. She stayed with this abusive person. And, and he was talking about, later on he found out because she felt like it was unworthiness. And he was like, he didn't know how it sprouted out to his life. Lulu, sit down. She was about to run, y'all. My phone would have been dead again. This is about my 9th phone. My 9th phone this year. So, Yeah. Um. Sorry, you guys. Anywho, so yeah, he was talking about unworthiness and how you feel unworthy, and he's like, he didn't understand that he was using unworthiness as his tackling fuel, and one of the things about unworthiness, one of the main things I was telling you about how I had to deal with fear, and he talked about that. He said he um he dealt with that, and he was like, what did he say, y'all? I'm getting a brain fart. It seemed like every time I go in this corner, every morning, I lose my train of thought. I'm gonna stop walking over here. Something over here. Something in the air. Oh. But, so he said, oh yeah, he was operating from a place. His tackling view was, I'll show you, because it was so many people saying that he couldn't do anything and he couldn't do things, and he was able to do that. But after he let go of that resentment and the things that he had from his parents, and his father, well, really his father saying, you can't do it, and just people going around, and he had to let that go, and that spirit of fear just dropped off, and he had to use another form of tackling fuel, his other tackling fuel. And he was like, he had to find out that he was just worthy. He was enough. He was just enough. He was enough to do it. um Honestly, I can honestly say this is where I'm at in my life, feeling worthy. I didn't understand it when I said, oh, God is dealing with me with fear, because if you're around so many people who don't believe that things are going to happen, or things, you can't do something, and then you do it. Well, if you around people who believe things are not going to happen, or things can't happen with you, it does bring a spirit of fear, because God says you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, right? And if you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, and it is God ordained, meaning that you didn't put it in your head. This thought, this whole thing, I promise you, I did not put it in my head. I was up there trying to separate, like, God did this. Did I just get, involved with some people? Because um, some people can propel this into your head, and I know some people were trying to do it, but some people could see where I was going and tried to propel themselves into the position way too soon, try to make themselves a spot. But God is diligent in that. But anywho, yeah, I literally had to deal. I literally had to deal with fear. And once I started tapping into that, and I was like, God, I don't even know. It wasn't a handbook. A lot of people have all these teachings. I didn't have a handbook in learning half of this stuff that I've known. Most of this stuff was me going through this process and just trusting God. Like, trusting God, trusting God. Yeah, so he started talking about, like I said, he was talking about how being worthy and how you have to change another tackling field. So with me, it's a different spot, because now I have achieved. I knew I was going to achieve it, but after that, if you know, what else do you use as tackling field? Okay, you got it. You can do this. You've done it. How do you, or you accomplish certain things? How do you move forward? And um, yeah. Oh, also dealing with fear, you have to forgive. He was talking about that too. But I also had that at church, because I went to a church. Excuse me. I went to a church Sunday. No, okay. Oh yeah. Okay, yes, I did go to church Sunday. Um, but they were talking about forgiveness. The last couple of times that I went to church, I was like, it's got to be God. Some people, sometimes I sit and pray, because if you know enough about churches, and with me, when I was dealing with some of the things that was going on with me, and dealing with some of the hardships and just walking with God, I had to visit a lot of churches. what I notice is that God will speak to you. God will speak to you. Sometimes it is an audible voice. Sometimes it's not. You know, I know people, oh, that's insane. Oh, that's insane. Like, no, it's not. um, God can sometimes speak to you, and sometimes God can speak to you through your heart without even saying, without you hearing anything. It's just a knowing sometimes that some people, they will have groups, and they have certain things to pray for. Most places do have certain things to pray to and pray for at different seasons and different times, you know. Even in the biblical days, there's certain feasts and certain things that you have to that people pray for. I said pray for. Well, some people pray to, but pray for during the season in their life. So yeah, you got to be careful with that, because you might think that it's actually, and God could be using that. I'm not going to say that he doesn't, but it could be that the places that you went are connected to the same congregation or denomination, so you're all praying for the same thing, you know, same thing at one time. And sometimes, not all the time, because it's good to connect. God didn't tell us to do things by ourselves and do things on our own or anything like that. But sometimes it's good to get into the quiet place and hear what God is saying, so that you won't be disrupted or knocked off, you know. So yeah, but I have went to church, and they was talking about forgiveness. That's another part of feeling worthy. You have to let go. When my mother, I'm going to tell you this because it kind of hurt my feelings, but I know dealing with mental illness, you go through a lot of things. One minute, they will be nice to you. And people who are true believers, not saying that people who go to church every day, I'm not saying the people who never go to church either. Lulu, you see that bunny? You see Bunny? Look. Lulu, look. Look, Lulu. Look. Look, Lulu. Look at the bunny. Lulu. Look. No, go over there. You see the bunny? How the world she don't see the bunny? You don't see that bunny? Is you blind? I'm going to get your eyes checked. This girl's crazy. Okay. We'll see you later, bunny. Bunny, bunny, poo, poo. Okay, Bill. Let it go. Bunnies used to wear me out. They still do. I'm sorry, you guys. I have to, like, it's just, allergy season, it seems like it's coming later. Usually I don't even have to deal with allergies in the fall. I usually deal with them in the spring. But you know how our weather is getting changed, and we know what we're coming to, so it is what it is. Anyhow, yeah, he was talking, Tyler Perry even talked about the forgiveness of his father or whatever. But with me, it was the forgiveness of my mother. Now, this happened before I saw the video, but I want to say about a month and a half back, when she got out of the actual hospital and went to a mental hospital, because she sustained some wounds, when she was, like, physically sick, not mentally sick, she was really, really upset, and she got mad because she said that no one cared about her, no one wanted to get her out, and, you know, she was getting really mad. She didn't want to talk to anyone. She wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't talk to her sister, and she literally was just letting me know that she hates me, which is something, sometimes it happens. And when I say this has happened to me so many times, even when I'm the person that can see her getting off, you know, because truth be told, my aunt, I'm being really transparent here. But my aunt would sometimes, it would get me so upset because my aunt would sometimes laugh like, here she goes, she's going crazy. And it's nothing, like I said, once again, when some people are off their medications and they don't have anyone over them, and the system legally allows them to do that until they go mentally insane, and then they go and put them in the hospital, um you have no other option but to do that, to just let them go. You can't put it in their food because it's illegal. You can't, even suggest them to them or bring them to a place of consciousness, because sometimes they're so rattled they'll jump to other people, and most people don't know what's really going on, so they're just listening thinking that this is someone who doesn't suffer from a mental illness. And if you hear some of the things that they say, and an actual person was going through it, you will be like, oh my God, like this is really, really bad. Um, but, um, yeah. But that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with that, and it's like, why do I feel like, I don't know, some of the like particles in my head, y'all, no lie, like some of the particles in my head when I got hit, I could literally feel parts of my brain like not connecting. It felt like a chunk of meat, like not like attached, if I could say that. Not fully attached. Not to say that it was all the way gone, but it was not fully attached. Like I could feel it like cluck 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 like that. And it was weird. In my head used to like super swell. Like sometimes it does it a little bit now, but it's a lot better, like I said. And I didn't have complications where to the point where I couldn't do what I needed to do. So I was still able to walk, move around, so I was grateful, and I was able to do what God told me to do. But anywho, I don't want to keep jumping off a topic, but I just felt that in my head because it doesn't feel as bad, but I can still feel like it's not. It's weird. So, a lot of people walking today. Anywho, yeah, she got to that place where she was like, oh, I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around this person. And, it was so bad she wouldn't get on the phone. She wouldn't do anything. And I got to the point where I no longer got into that baby making phase, because sometimes if you, me dealing with it, sometimes I felt bad because some of the things that I knew was going on that I could have done that I didn't do before previously. And then there were times where there were certain things that I just literally, you want your parents to be healthy, you want things to be healthy, but sometimes that's just not what we get out of life, and this is one of the portions where I did not get out of life, and I understand that I had to deal with it. But at the same time, if someone is telling you that, even especially when you're a teenager, hearing that, or hearing, your mother, and, saying, I'm going to throw you down the stairs or something like that, hear your mom saying that she's going to kill your baby. She left a note. She left a note for me, man. It was so crazy, but I knew my mom was going out of her mind. But I know the one person that she will, like, if my mom is going, it's like a point, being around it a lot, it's like a point where where there is I want to say a safe time when she's still out of it, but you can still catch her. And then there is the point of no return. The point of no return comes when it's days and all that. But I remember with me dealing with worthiness, she would sometimes tell me when she's out that, she would tell people that, she saw me being a prostitute. She even told my aunt this. My aunt thought it was so hilarious, and I'm like, how could you think that was hilarious? That's really hard, And when this happened for a good minute, it was crazy. And if, like I said, some people when I was doing business connections, I would go and some people would be like, oh my God, her own mother, not knowing the situation. So sometimes it can be hurtful, and you can feel like, you can feel a state of unworthiness. You can feel that rejection, y'all. Like, I didn't even understand that it really was. Come on, we not going over there. Lulu. She said she gonna walk, she don't care. Hold on. She don't want to stop. Like, this girl is crazy. But I had that was one thing that I had to learn. I had to deal with, but it doesn't mean that it's not messing with your psyche. Like, I had to literally do work, even though I knew that wasn't true. But hearing that, guard your portals. Like, when I say guard your portals, that's what I mean. Guard your portals. I literally had to train myself to say that, no matter what's going on, no matter who says this, I'm still beautiful. My grandmother used to tell me that and try to tell me certain things like that, but I didn't understand it then. But going through it, and you see someone with mental illness, you have to take care of yourself, because all of the weathering, all of the things that you have to go through, during this time, you have to go through it, and you can't change it, Now, am I saying that I believe in leaving my mom in the dust and like forgetting about her and all that other stuff? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that I had to take care of myself and understand what worthiness was. So when Tyler Perry was talking about that, I understood it then, because when you operate from a place of revenge, or a place, because I used to operate out of that, at a place of revenge, or I'm going to show you mentality, versus that I'm already worthy, it takes a lot of pressure off of you. It takes a lot of pressure and a lot of weight off of you. And it really sets you free. So now you're operating out of authenticness instead of fear and anguish. And when you operate out of fear, you think you have this quick timeline. Me, I was just like, the timeline of life. Okay, I see this, God showed me this, now I need to run and do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. When that's not the point. When you understand you are worthy, you know that it's going to come within due time. It doesn't matter, it's going to come in your season, in due season, no matter what. You just got to keep showing up and keep putting the effort forward. So yeah, and right now I honestly feel like I'm in the middle. I gotta be somewhere. I know I'm not. I'm farther away from where I started from. I can say that. And if you look at my videos, you can see that too. But I'm definitely somewhere in the middle. I'm getting closer to the end than I expect. But it I guess it looks different. The shift is different. So if I can say that. Yeah, so I'm going to get off of here. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem. And thank you guys for listening so much. Hopefully some of this stuff you can apply to your own life. I try not to hide what I've learned and what I'm going through and all of that. I try not to hide it. Oh, shoot, I do got to go to the bank. The bank ain't even open yet. Y'all, just start thinking about stuff. I try not to hide what I am going through and the obstacles and the things that I go through, because I know that if God allowed me to go through it, there is somebody on this earth that is going through it too, and they need to hear it. They need to hear that it is okay when you fall down. It is okay, no matter what is going on. It is okay. Keep moving forward. Don't turn back. If you trust and you believe, and some people don't even have to believe in God. There are people who don't believe in God who get to their destination. Believing. What do you believe in? For me, it's my faith in believing in God. If God brought me to it, He's gonna bring me through it. If he, and I don't want to sound cliche, but if you knew that you didn't have the power to create your faith, or create where you were supposed to go before you were created, then why fret? All you got to do is just do your part and show up. Get up, show up. Don't be still. Keep moving, and you will find your destination. So, yeah, and y'all, I'm telling y'all, I never felt so much energy, like I never felt so at peace. Now, like when I say I felt at peace, I felt at peace. I felt at peace. So, yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem. Thank you.